Yeah, one of those nights. Yeah, it was one of those games where, obviously, maybe a little bit of a tired hockey team in terms of the 5 games and 8 nights here, and a team that was sitting here waiting for us, and they came out and jumped early, and they got some goals that were, going in the net hard. They got some funky goals, if you will. And even the first one we had it covered, puck comes right back to the guy. They tapped in as he's going by the net, type of thing. A couple out of the air, which in the second period that was our fault. We made some real poor decisions in terms of that. But just everything. I mean, like a power play goal, they whack at it, it goes right over Deck's head, and goes, pops right in the net. Stuff like that. One of those nights, probably not even look at the game. Unfortunately, it's just one of those things. And our guys, I don't want to not totally forget about this game in terms of, learn something from it. Mentally, they came out real quick and hard, and they jumped on us quickly. And you got to stop that momentum, and we weren't able to. They got the second and third goal, within the first 10 minutes of the game, and we didn't do a good job of that. So they won a few more battles real early, and then took control of the game. And then we tried to regroup after the first little bit, and thought we were doing okay. And then we turned the puck over. They got the 5th goal, and at that point it was pretty well game set match. You're dug yourself in a pretty good hole.
Sullivan didn't play the 3rd period. What's his status?
Yeah, he just had a little bit of a aggravating type of injury that we just wanted to settle down. And the game was sort of at that point where he said, "No, let's not push anymore." He's a real good player for us. No sense.
Upper or lower body on
it'd be a lower, yes, lower.
How much did the fatigue maybe play a role in this?
I can't say for sure. I think physically, the physical fatigue, if there's any, I think that's minimal. I think it's more the mental. I think it always is. It's amazing what their body can do. Like last night, we played hard against a good Devils team and got back late, and they just jumped on us early, and that's a big, sometimes a mountain to climb. So I don't have any excuses. I just don't want to. Our guys have done a really good job in the last 10 games getting points. Have had a lot of games. We've collected a lot of points, and the group deserves credit for that. And one of these games happens once in a while, and if we had a bunch of them lined up in this next little while, then there's concern. But our best train of thought would be to. We're maybe not due for one of these, but one of these happens once in a while in an 82-game schedule, and everything just ends up in your net. Our best remedy for that is regroup and make sure that we've got 2 games before Christmas, that we really focus on those 2 games and see if we can collect 4 points in those 2 games. And this game will, it won't be a 6-1 loss; it'll just be a loss.
Pulled Lindback, obviously trying to change the momentum, but he wasn't as sharp either.
No, it was both. After actually they scored the first goal, a couple saves there. He just didn't look quite as sharp as he usually did, and they got the second goal. And at that point, I really thought about maybe pulling Anders at that point, but I'll say out of respect for what he's done. And all that, I wanted him to fight through it a little bit, and see if he could. And trust me, it wasn't his fault. He didn't get a lot of help tonight. So, but I wanted him to, have a little of that adversity, just so that it's part of that growing process. We got down early, and I was trying to get him through that first period, and then maybe switch him out after that. But we didn't get that far. So.
How thick did you do?
Obviously, he came in, we're a little cold, and then the first goal they score on him, and basically is a guy whacking, and it hits like about 8 different things and pops over his head. So, he did pretty good, but at the same time, there were some funky things that were happening. The other 2 goals were them hitting them out of the air into the net. So, one off the glass, and then I think Smith, got it off the glass and whacked it in the net. Just it was one of those nights that you just want to forget about.
Can you take any sort of evaluation on Mark and how he played tonight? Just
On
deck and on Mark.
Well, it's a little bit hard because it wasn't there wasn't a lot of we weren't in a real tight game, and that's where you find the true value of goaltenders when there's tremendous amount of pressure and all that. There's a lot of pressure that they could light it up another 5 or 6 goals because we weren't really sharp, and mentally they were and physically they were on their game. They had a lot of jump tonight, so those are hard games too. So I think he did well. I mean, it's the first time in the National Hockey League playing the game, and the team swarming me a little bit, but they just seemed to score in all their chances. And from a chance standpoint, they capitalized a lot.
Could you comment on Steve Beijing after 2 games?
Well, he comes as advertised. He's a very hard worker. He's a physical guy. He gives you what he has. He's a guy that has some value to an organization for sure. He's hard. He comes and competes, and he's a real good pro.
Okay.
Thank you.
That's it.
Thanks, everyone.